I can't remember what dinosaur this is. It's not like me to leave anything to the last minute, is it? Just so that it's a nice smooth cut, so my cutting machine doesn't hate me. What's up, my sugar plum? Jasper is really testing my limits today. I think it might actually be too high a setting because it seems to have cut off all of the tabs. Hello and welcome back to another vlog. If you're new here, hi, my name is Georgie. I'm the artist and creator behind Georgie's Certain Art, a cat and dinosaur themed online shop. I'm going to take you along the process of designing and making some new stickers. So normally I'm working in digital form, like on Procreate or my iPad. However, these are going to be from real life ink drawings. Several years ago, I started this collection of dinosaur skull ink paintings, which I really liked. The first one I actually did for my final major project in university in my third year. So that was 2020 was the first one. And I think the second one I did around the same time. And then I did another one a couple years later, like I think it was 2022. And I haven't gone back to this form of painting in a while. However, I really enjoyed it and I really like the look of it. It's kind of like tattoo-esque. So I've already actually painted one more one and I'll show you that in a second. But I've got two more that I want to do and I want to do another one if I have time. All of these are going to be turned into prints that I'm going to be taking to the Dino Tattoo Show and Dino Con in July. However, I also want to turn them into stickers. Now, I've never done this before, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve because I've only ever made stickers from digital drawings. However, it's going to be a fairly similar process, but I thought I'd show you like start to finish. This is a... bear with me. I can't remember what dinosaur this is. Okay, I was right. This is a Draco Rex. I can't believe I forgot it. But yeah, this is a Draco Rex. But then I'm also going to do a Dilophosaurus. And then I'm pretty sure it's a Brachiosaurus. And then the other one that I would like to do, if I have time, is going to be a Parasaurolophus. The plan for them is to paint them, like that one, cut them down into A4, scan them in, edit the digital files a little bit, and then cut them out in sticker shape and then physically make the stickers and the packaging. We've got a lot to do there and I've got less than 2 weeks to do it. I've technically got 1 week because it's Wednesday today and I'll be leaving on Friday next week. So it's not like me to leave anything to the last minute, is it? I'm going to get on with the first one. I think I'm going to be doing the Brachiosaurus. So we'll see how that one goes. We are ignoring the mess that is on my desk because, like I said, it's basically just over a week till the show and I am in full making mode. The painting is done. I'm going to do the last one now. Once I've finished all of them, if I've got time, then I'll do the para, but I'm going to have to stretch up the board again. I have cut them all off the board and I've signed them all. So now these are all ready to go in my scanner. I just used my printer that's just behind here. So we'll do that and then we'll get them on the computer. now I've got the 3 prints scanned. I'm not sure how well this is going to pick it up on camera, but if you look at the 2 prints next to each other, this is the OG T-Rex and this is the Draco Rex. The black is just a lot more punchy. There's a lot more contrast in it compared to the new one. So what I'm going to have to do is just digitally edit this one so that it looks a little bit more contrasty. So I'm going to go and edit these. I'm probably going to do it in Snapseed, which is the photo editor that I use. So to do that, I use my iPad. So I'm not sure if this is going to show well on here or not. But if I hold down my finger, you can compare. That's the original, that's the new. So it's just a little bit more punchy, which means it is going to print a lot better. So I've just taken the prints back onto the computer just to compare them with the original T-Rex, just to see if I'm happy with the darkness that they now are. And I am. This one's a little bit more red toned than this one. When I'm making the outlines, I might edit this to be a bit more monochrome. I think I will do the parrot because the Triceratops print that I've got, I think is going to look too different in comparison to the others. So I will stretch up another piece of paper and I will do that. For the time being, we can do the other ones. So how I set up my files is I copy and paste to an old file. So I'm currently using the mushroom dinos and I'm actually going to keep one of the cut lines. So this is like the cut line without the easy peel tabs on. I'm going to keep them to one side and I'm just going to delete the other layers. I changed my mind. We're going to do this in Procreate, not in Illustrator. I will be taking it to Illustrator in a bit, but for the time being, we're going to do this in here because it's going to be easier. So I'm just going to freehand this. The problem with it is that there's going to be a white background on it. So when I draw my layer on top, I'm just going to reduce the opacity of this layer so that I can still see the image underneath. For this, I'm actually going to pretty much outline exactly where the dino skull is. Now, you may be thinking, well, why am I not just doing the sticker outline here? Because I hate doing that. I'd rather take it into Illustrator than make it a vector image and then make the cut line from there. I can see all of them together and I can kind of make all of the outlines the similar sort of thickness. So I'm just exporting this without a background as a PNG, and I've also changed the image to black just so that it shows up a bit better. That's the first one, and then we're basically just going to continue copying that. I am, however, going to edit the colours of the other skulls in here just because it's going to be quicker. I can do 2 in 1 kind of thing. So I'm just going through and checking the colours, and they all look good now as well. And then we can take in the cut lines. That's like a puzzle of working out which one goes with which dino. I'm just going to reduce the size of each of these till they're roughly about the size that they're going to be. I have the image like this, and we're just going to image trace it as a silhouette and then expand it. So now this is a vector image. I'm going to reduce down the opacity so I can see it, and then we're going to offset the path. And I normally do a 0.1 outline, so you can see there'll be a little bit of an outline around all of it. Now I've got like basically 2 shapes. So I've got the inner one and the outer one. They're a group. Easiest way is just to select it and then make it a compound path. Super duper easy. I'm going to just reduce the opacity again because what I want to do now is just smooth it up, because my cutter, for instance, on this sharp corner here, it's not going to like it. So we need to smooth this. To do this, it's easier to have your points selected so you can see where the points are. I'm literally just going to simplify it, and I'm just going to reduce down the points. So you can see the anchor points, there's a lot less now than there was. And then I'm just going to select ones that need to be basically rounded, and I'm just going to pull them out. I'm going to bump the opacity back up to 100, copy and paste it in place, so Control F, hide the top one, select both of them, make a clipping mask, boom, it's a sticker. And then I'm going to keep hold of this other layer so that I can add the tab to it. So I'm just, for the purposes of this, going to group them together so I don't lose it. Then, to replicate the same thing with all the others. So with this one, there's loads and loads of points still, even though I've simplified it. So I'm actually just going to smooth it. So I just go path smooth, and then I'm just going to drag this up until I'm kind of happy with it. And then there's still some that are sort of going in a bit too much, so I'm just going to manually move them. I think I am there with this process so far. The next thing I need to do is make the last drawing, and then I can actually make the sticker pack, like finish the sticker pack design file. It's currently Friday. I have just gotten ready. We're trying a new foundation. So I wanted to try this at home before I wear it out of the house. So we're going to see how it wears today. But anyway, besides the point, I have gotten the last artwork done, and we're going to get them all on Illustrator and onto the sheet, and then I'll show you how I take that into Cricut to then cut the stickers. Normally what I would do is I would start putting them on this sheet before I add the tabs. However, because there's only going to be particular areas of these dinosaur heads that I can actually add the peel tabs to, I'm going to add them first, because I like to add them along a smoother bit of the sticker, like along here, rather than say along the jaggedy bit along the back of the neck, because occasionally it doesn't cut through properly, and so I might need to just go through with my knife and just gently like cut through the top layer. It doesn't always happen, but on the rare occasion it does happen. It's really annoying if I've got to go like and cut it like jaggedly. For this one, I'm going to stick the tab here. Before I link the two shapes together, I'm just going to bring in these corners so that they're nice and rounded. Then I'm going to select both the tab and the main shape, and I am going to unite as a compound shape so that it's all one now. Then I'm going to select these little dots here and just round the corners, just so that it's a nice smooth cut, so my cutting machine doesn't hate me. And then I'm going to group the text and the tab together, so now it's all one. Then what we can do, bring this underneath the image layer, we can just group those two together, because that's now the sticker. The black layer is going to be the inner cut line, that's the actual sticker shape. The white outline is going to be the tab shape. And we're going to move on to the next one. What's up, my sugar plum? I'm also taking into account where is going to be the best place to peel the sticker from as well. Like, realistically, it's probably actually going to be up here is going to be the best area. Jasper, don't even... No! Shame. Shame. Oh, that was a big sigh. Yeah, that was a big sigh, wasn't it? Now we can actually start putting these on the sheet. Because I've got the white tabs on, I can't see the outline. So I'm just going to add a layer, send it to the back, and then lock it so that I can see the tabs. Once I've got approximately half a sheet filled, I'm just going to copy and paste in place. I'm going to flip it over and then just move it to the other side of the sheet, and then we just need to do some work. This is kind of what takes the most amount of time when it comes to making a sticker pack, is actually getting them to fit all on a sheet together. Oh, I may have actually, hang on. Jasper, stop! Mate, stop. Jasper is really testing my limits today. I'm actually just gonna copy and paste this again because I might have actually just made that fit. Absolutely not. Get off. This is where he is. That is my computer he's sat on. And the coaster there is to stop him pressing the power off button. When people say that kids are easier than pets, they've never had a Jasper. Okie dokie. Yeah, they've never had a you, have they? That looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is hide that grey layer. I also just double check that these corners are not actually attached to one of the stickers. And then I'm going to ungroup everything, select one of the cut lines. We're going to go with the black one, and then we're going to go select same fill color, group them, hide that, and then the rest of it can all just be grouped together. That will be my image layer. So I'm just going to save this as an image. I'm going to save this as the biggest size that it can be. Cricut won't like this, but we're going to do it anyway. And then it needs to be saved as a PNG because obviously the outlines are white. Let's save that as, we're going to go Dino Skulls image layer. Then we're going to hide that layer and we're going to just do the black layer. Same again. This one technically wouldn't have to be a PNG. However, I do still save it as a PNG because sometimes when you remove the white background on Cricut, it can go a little bit like jaggedy. So that's why I just like to save them as PNGs because it's just easier and it's one less step to do when you take it into Cricut. So I'm going to call this cut layer. I'm just going to create a new project and we will upload the images. And I don't need to do anything at this step because the white background's already removed. This is the cut layer, so it can just be a single layer. And then we just upload that. Then the image layer. This one will take a while because it is a big file. Now, I did mention the little corners, the little squares that I've got in each of the corners. They're going to come into play now. So I initially didn't do this. Also, I'm going to upload this as a flat graphic. I don't think you can quite see this. But this is going to be a flat graphic because it's going to be an print then cut image. When I first started doing sticker packs, I did not do this. And then I quickly realised that you need to do this. It's so much easier. I call them the corners, but they're little squares or little shapes basically. They're in the very corner of each of the corners. And they're in exactly the same place for both the image layer and the cut layer, which means that once I've sized it to the right size, which is normally about 16.55 mil width, my artboard is sized the max size that it can be for print then cut. It means now when I size the width to be the same size and then I align them centrally, they're going to perfectly line up with each other like so. Whereas if I didn't have these corners and I was to size them up, I'd have to go back into Illustrator, select this layer, see the width and height, then put it into Cricut, do the same with the cut layer, and then I would have to manually try and line them up perfectly, which is pretty much impossible to do. And if they aren't lined up properly for like a die cut, or, you know, kiss cut sticker in this case, but it's only a tab, so it's die cut the rest of the way round, you'll get little strips of sticker that is like a fraction of a millimetre, so you'll get all this shedding edge come off on it. You don't want that. So I do these little corners, which means that everything lines up perfectly and it will cut in exactly the same place for each layer. If you're not doing easy peel tabs, then you literally don't add the tab, you just have this one layer. I like the tabs. So this is what we do. Also, you wouldn't need the corners. The other thing I need to now do is I just need to copy and paste this image layer So basically what it's going to do is when I put it into Cricut, it's going to cut it 3 times. It's going to cut twice around the image layer, and then it's going to cut once around this. Because obviously this has got the tab, so I want it to cut all the way around the full outside to make sure it's away from that backing paper so it peels off easily. We're just going to sandwich it all together. We're going to line, center, and then the most important step is attach it. If it's not attached, it's going to act as a group, and when you take it onto the next step, so if I go make now, when it takes it on to show where it's going to be on the mat, it will separate all the layers, whereas if you attach it, it's going to keep it all together as one thing. And then we're going to continue. It doesn't really matter about this add bleed. I mean, you can leave it ticked on. It's a white outline, so it's not going to have a bleed anyway. Because I want to print it as a specific print profile, I want to use the system dialog, and then that will bring up your normal settings that you want to do. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to need to print this as a matte paper type or as a glossy paper type. So although the vinyl that I use is matte, depending on the colours that are used in it will depend on whether I need to use a matte or a gloss finish to get the closest colour payoff from what's on screen. So for instance, I've got a little, this little post-it note tells me what ones I need to print as a glossy settings. For instance, I've got a new Cat and Dino Cowboy sticker pack. That one I printed on matte to begin with, turned out too bluey green, like too punchy in colour. So then I tried it on glossy, made it a bit more muted, perfect colours, looked exactly what it did on screen. I'm going to try it on matte first. I leave this all as standard. I don't print as high quality for stickers. It does not need to be high quality. You want it on normal size. You want to make sure it's not set to fit to page, because that's going to affect the size it's going to print, and then Cricut's going to not cut it in the right place. So make sure it's normal size, and then we're going to let it print. The colour quality seems okay. I am intrigued to see what it looks like printed out as glossy, so I'm just going to set that going as well. So in the meantime, we're going to get the laminate ready. So I have more laminate on the way, but at the moment I think I've only got like 2 sheets left. I've never actually cut a sticker pack if I've like laminated the whole thing, including the sensor marks. I know some cutting machines have an issue with reading the marks if it's been laminated, so precautionally I just always trim it down. And then also I use the scrap bits. I cut them up into little squares, put them in this little pot, and then I'll use them for packaging my parcels. Also, this sheet has just finished printing out, so one was done on glossy, one was done on matte, and actually they look pretty similar. I'd say actually the glossies maybe turned out more blue this time, so we will stick with printing it out on matte, which is fine. But they're similar enough that I'd be able to sell both, because I mean I can struggle to see the difference between them. So we're going to just use both of them. So I'm just going to wipe the surface of the stickers just to make sure that there's no debris that's going to get stuck underneath the laminate. This is how I like to laminate. I just peel back a corner. I don't peel the whole edge because I actually find that harder to laminate. I just peel back a corner. I line this up carefully so it's all within each corner, and I just stick this corner down to begin with. Then I use my squeegee. It's a nice wide one. I flip this back so it's resting on the hand that's going to do the squeegeeing, and I just hold the corner with my other hand. This is a matte laminate. It has a slight tiny bit of a sheen, but it's matter than obviously gloss, and I quite like this finish. It feels nice. It's like a silky feeling, and it's really nice for things like this when they're like original paintings and that sort of thing, because it's going to make it seem more like the real painting rather than like if I was to stick gloss on it. Grab a cutting mat. I like to use the actual Cricut brand because I've tried off brands, they do not last as long, they get severely cut up. I've got some downstairs that I cleaned, they're atrocious, they do not last as long. Cricut have now come out with packs of mats which work out a lot cheaper, and actually they're then about the similar price to the off-brand ones anyway, so I prefer the Cricut ones. And you can just wash them to make them more sticky again, which I have shown it in other videos. And just stick it down. Then I use my lino roller. This is just a clean one that I've got. I don't use it for actual printmaking. And I just like to roll over the sticker sheet and really press it down onto the mat so that it's well adhered. And then we're going to feed it into the Cricut. My cut settings, I have set up a laminated sticker paper setting, which is just this one. I've got 3. I've got one set to 200 pressure, 220 and 240. Some laminates need slightly more, so this will probably need the 240, but I'm going to go for the 220 just to be on the safe side. I can always hand cut them out if needed. If they haven't cut through enough, then the next one I'll go 240. I did test it before I released the sheet, and it did appear to have cut through. With this matte laminate, I do find that sometimes it doesn't cut all the way through the backing paper occasionally, but it seems to have today. I think it might actually be too high a setting because it seems to have cut off all of the tabs. This is not how it normally cuts for matte laminate, so never mind. We'll just peel these off and see what ones we can salvage, and if not, they'll just be die cuts, and I'll either use them in the free bin or in mystery bundles. So they're not going to go to waste even if they mess up. Now sometimes I would go along and I would stick these tabs back on. I cannot be bothered today, so we're just gonna remove them. Like I said, I've got more laminate coming, so I can make some more of these, and I need free stickers for mystery bundles anyway, and I need to make some more free stickers to go in my free pot for markets. So then what I'm going to do, I just cut off a bit of the backing paper that was on there, but I just like to peel back every single one to make sure that is definitely cut through, because what I don't want happening is someone buying a sticker pack from me, getting home, and then they're not actually cut through. So that one doesn't have a tab, that one doesn't have a tab. I also like to just test them to make sure that they're in a good place for peeling. So this one has not cut through all the way. So I'm just going to use my knife and I'm going to very lightly score it. And then it's cut through. So that literally takes me seconds. And normally what I'll do is I'll do this when the next one's cutting. But because, again, this is the first sheet, I just want to make sure that, you know, what setting I want to put it on for the next one. So I'll probably reduce, because this one's cut halfway through. Now this one, it's lost half of its tab. So this is cut through a little bit more than what I would like it to have done. So what I'm going to do is just use a tiny bit of tape. I'm not going to send out a sticker pack that's half up to scratch. So I just stick a piece of tape on the back there. This is just spotty tape. Normally I have brown tape. And then what it means is that when you peel it back, the tab is actually going to stay attached, so it's not going to rip anymore. So yeah, that one's done. This one, the tab is holding on for dear life. No, it's gone. Okay, that tab's gone. So I'm actually not going to have a full pack out of this because that was 2 of the paras that the tabs have come off. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. So we are going to now cut the next sheet, and hopefully it will be all right. We're going to cut it on a lower setting. I'm going to do it on the 200 rather than the 220. Although having said that, I need to reduce the strength down. It's now not cut through any of these. So I'm probably going to have another little play with it. But I'll do that off camera. But this is all part of making stickers, the fun bit. It'd be so much easier if I just made die cut stickers, because I wouldn't have to do all this. Like, it would just cut it out. But I like having the peel tabs because, one, it's a selling factor. People buy my stickers because they like the fact that it's got peel tabs on it. So it's easier for people with low dexterity to actually use stickers. And two, I just generally really struggle peeling the backings off a lot of stickers. This one's the only one that the tab cut off fully, and although I said I wasn't going to bother sticking them back on, I am with this one because then I'll have 2 complete packs. And I've got 2 others that I need to just put a little bit of tape over as well. So this one was one that was completely peeled off, and if I go to peel it back, it's still going to work as the tab intended. So that is my 2 packs ready to be packaged. So I've only actually obviously got 2 made up at the moment, but this is what I do. So I just pop my little backing card inside the packet. I'll split these into their designs. This is what I would do for like packing up loads of packs. So you can see how I make sure I have the right amount of stickers in each pack. So I'd split them by design, and then I would take all of the first design, put them in the piles, then the next one on top, then the next one on top, and so on. So imagine I've got a lot of packs going on, and then it just makes it a lot quicker and easier. I used to put a different sticker at the front of each pack, but I think it was just causing a lot of confusion because people would see that there's a different sticker at the front and then be confused and think that the packs have different stickers in each one when they don't. So now I just pick my favourite one and stick it at the front. So we're just going to go with T-Rex. So this is what they'll look like. So you've got the front looking like this with the stickers all on view, and then at the back means that the customer can just see what's actually included in each one. And then also if they want to read this, it says that they're matte laminated so that they can tell if it's going to be matte or glossy, because obviously in the packet you can't really tell unless it's a holographic one, and then you can tell. But yeah, this is how I make my sticker packs and how I package them. Just let me know below if you've got any questions about any of this. So I think that's all I've got for you today. If you did enjoy this vlog or found it useful, then please do consider subscribing and dropping a little like or a comment below. If you want to see some behind the scenes content, you can follow me over on Patreon. I also give finance breakdowns of all my markets and everything, and these are my rewards for this month. If you want to see what conventions and markets I'm going to be at, then you can go and follow me over on Instagram, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! But then I'm also going to do a Dilophosaurus, a Parasaurolophus. Who came up with these names? Are you back on my computer again? Off. Don't backchat me. Off. Off. Press OK. And it's not going to do it. Why is it not going to do it? Why? Some people may call this extra, but I call this a piece of tape absolutely covered in my cat's hair.